What led me to the world of art curation is I had a passion for art really early on. My mother painted, she did watercolors, and we were encouraged to make art as children, so there were always art supplies around the house, and I lived a couple blocks away from the Davenport Museum of Art when I was growing up. And so we would go there when I was a kid and look at the exhibitions and also take art classes. And so that passion for art as I was young built into something that I knew I wanted to work with art as an adult. And I continued to take art classes in high school, and I actually job shadowed as with the curator at the newly opened Figge in 2005 when I was a senior in high school. And that was really when I realized that curating was a profession or a field that I could go into. I had thought about other positions, other jobs with the fine arts, like being a conservator, or I loved Antiques Roadshow. So being an art appraiser or working in an auction house was also something that I had thought about doing. And then that internship really started me, or that job shadow really started me thinking about curating as a viable profession for me. And then I went to University of Iowa, got a degree in art history, and one of my professors there actually set up an internship for me at a museum out west, the Buffalo Bill Center of the West at the Western Art Museum. And so I did a curatorial internship, and that further propelled me along that path. So we've worked with the community in the past in various ways. We've had community-centered art exhibitions. We have the Young Artists exhibitions. We have the Rock Island Art Guild exhibition every 2 years, hosted at the Figge, where we can bring in local artists. And then we also have the mobile audio tour, where we've invited artists and community members to respond to works. But that's what we have been doing. So it's already something that we have a foundation in, is this close collaboration with the community. But I want to continue to expand that, specifically in terms of exhibition planning, as well as what we're doing in our permanent exhibition spaces featuring works from our collection. So I hope to collaborate and discuss and have an open dialogue with community members about what kind of exhibitions we're bringing into the museum, whether that's a focused group of community members or something more open, so that we can get some strong feedback and on what we're doing, what we could improve on. And then in terms of our permanent collection galleries, I think it would be really great if we can continue to get community voices involved in whether it's label responses or the mobile audio tour, so that we can have their voices in the permanent collection, because the collection is really, it belongs to the community in a lot of ways. It's here so that they can come and they can enjoy it. That was the original intent of the gift that Charles Figge made. So to continue that and have people feel like it's a part of, they're a part of the community, and this art collection is also a part of the community. My approach to collaborating with artists, again, it depends on the artist. So if it's a contemporary artist, a living artist, I usually do kind of a deep dive into their artwork, so that I can properly prepare myself for a site visit or an initial conversation with the artist. And so, for instance, if it's a regional or a local artist that I can easily go to their studio, I'll probably do that more quickly earlier in the planning process, because I can easily go to their studio, or we can easily meet and have a long conversation about what their goals would be for an exhibition. And then I can talk about what our goals are for the museum, and for the museum visitor for the exhibition. And then we can start on those foundations and build out from there. If it is a historical show, if it's an artist from the past, then again do a deep dive on their work, read everything that I can about their work, and then I can really dig into the curating process. For museums, I think that collaborating with other museums is extremely important in the museum field, because all of these relationships and all of these connections, that's how we're able to bring in really great loans to the museum. That's how we're able to continue to bring in exciting traveling exhibitions. And you have to be, professional and do things safely and the right way, especially when you're talking about artwork and these precious objects. And we certainly don't take it lightly when we loan out things from our collection, nor do other museums. And so we want to make sure there's mutual respect and a mutual caretaking relationship going on. And I can safely say that over the past few years, that kind of close and respectful collaboration, where we're doing things the right way and being courteous, has resulted in some really tight, close-knit relationships with other museums as well as other organizations, because they know that we're good partners to work with. And so that opens up all kinds of new doors for us to what kind of artwork we can bring in. And then if we want to, say, put together a traveling exhibition, what kind of places that our traveling exhibitions would go to. My favorite art period or style has definitely shifted since I've been at the museum. When I originally came to the museum, my favorite art period or style, you could say, would be American scene, like urban realism, specifically like Martin Lewis or even Edward Hopper. So images of life in the city, life in New York City in particular. I was really drawn to images of New York City. The Ashcan School is another one of my favorites. And since I've been at the Figge, we have a wide range of work in the collection, and I've connected to a lot of different artworks in the collection. And then since we're more of a general museum, I've had the opportunity as a curator to work with everything from Rembrandt prints to contemporary installation artists. And so there's this wide range of things, and with each exhibition that I've worked on or been a part of, I've found different things to love about those different periods or styles or artists. And so being here, I've connected to a lot of different, movements and things like that. But I will say that uh, a part of my heart is definitely wedded to that early love of the American scene, as well as the Ashcan School would be some of my personal favorites. So I think art and art museums contribute immensely to our cultural landscape. And one of the foundational reasons why, is because art is so wide reaching. Through artwork, you can learn about history, you can learn about people's identities, you can learn about important cultural issues that are happening right now. And so there's so much that filtered through art, you can learn new things about all of this stuff that you hadn't considered before. So it can be a really important cultural touch point for people. And it can also create opportunities for people to think differently about issues, about people, about history, about um, beauty, about experiencing artwork in person. It can just be a powerful experience, just being with an artwork and viewing artwork. So there's that experiential component for community members that they can come in and take part in. Uh, and it can also become a center for the community uh, and all of the community members to experience those things and to gain new perspectives and new insight on life as well as art. One thing I'd like to share with our audience and our community is that the museum is here for you. The reason that we do all this and put all of this work into the exhibitions and thought into the exhibitions that we bring is that we want you to be able to connect with that artwork and to come and to enjoy that artwork. So please come to the museum and keep in mind that we're doing this all for you to enjoy, and we'd like you to come enjoy it because that's our base motivation in doing it, is for the community. So my favorite artwork, it changes all the time. I have a lot of different favorites, but more recently, one that's taken on a new meaning is LaToya Hobbs' The Everyday. And that's a self-portrait of the artist with her two children sitting on her bed. And it was created during the pandemic, where that was her everyday life, was her being at home with her two little boys. And just personally, that's taken on new meaning for me because I recently had a baby. I had a child, and that's kind of been my everyday for the past month, is being at home with the baby, sitting on the bed, and in my own little world at home. And so that's taken on a new meaning for me as I'm going through this experience of motherhood, and I appreciate it in a new light. I loved it before, but I love it now even more.